And I'm Doug Wick, and we're going to tell you a little bit about Stuart Little 2. One of the most exciting parts was when one cat, two birds.
But what you won't see is the over 300 people that helped bring these characters to life.
Action! A movie like Stuart Little requires a tremendous amount of planning, and we begin the process by doing a storyboard, which we cut together and actually add the actors' voices to it.
George and Mom and the kids in the soccer team, they think I'm too small to accomplish anything.
Hey, you know, the way I see it, you're as big as you feel.
That was a great take.
It was
really great.
They had a camera so that they could get my facial expressions. Stuart, you gotta get out of here.
We're just mostly looking for things that they might add to it. A little hand gesture as they say a line, or, a little expression change. We always try and put a little bit of that actor into the character because we feel like it helps to bring it to life and make it real.
Wednesday, 3D previs, so we can actually see what the camera might be doing in any of the shots.
We'll take the computer, we'll take a mock-up, we will build in the computer a simplified version of the set or the location where the action would take place, and then we will basically animate the scene.
That way, when we're on the stage, we have a template to work from, a guide that gives us an idea of where we will begin the process.
We need more tension on the blanket.
We use the laser a lot because you put a laser there and the animators can see where the laser is and animate Stuart right there at that perfect point.
She's my friend, and when you're friends with Stuart Little, you're friends for life.
We also have little toys, what we call stuffies, that we put in the place of the character.
He puts them down.
It's a matter of being able to visualize where this character is going to be so that you can put the light in that spot.
You go through 3 months of dailies just looking at empty tabletops and empty, walls, and that's really why we shoot the stuffy pass. Months later, you realize what the shot was.
The stuffies aren't very high-tech.
Falcon's there, and the camera's right behind Falcon as he chases. We're diving 600 feet off the building right toward the street. I can go back to the moment where you're just in the room with a bunch of people talking, looking at script pages, how are you going to shoot this? We want to fly a camera across Central Park going 70 miles an hour, 200 feet above the ground. So we enlisted a man named Earl Wiggins who specializes in this type of thing.
We did a scout on top of the Trump International Hotel, and Earl Wiggins had his little Sony camcorder to get shots, and he literally stepped over the rail of the building, looking 60 stories down. And I asked him later, I said, oh my God, how can you do that? That would terrify me. And he said it terrified him too. He said that's why he doesn't fall.
2, 1, go.
We have camera rigs off of buildings in Central Park that go all the way across Central Park, 50 stories high, to cranes out in the middle of the park. The spider cam system we're using is just amazing. That he wanted. We scoured the country. I actually got on the internet. We looked at close to 5,000 cats for this show. And we actually rejected Snowbell twice. He was kind of a problem cat because he had this attitude. We actually took him only to be a stand-in. But once we started our training, he outshined everybody so much. And when the producers and the director saw him, they chose him as the lead.
I try to eat right, and yet I still feel bloated. Maybe more food will help. Snowbell is, a real professional. And after working with him on the first one, we already had a rapport, so it was nice.
It goes off in the 2 directions. Stuart will go into fur, and Margot, for instance, or Falcon will go into feathers. Birds don't have arms, they don't have fingers.
We had to create a range of motion for the wings that could act like a hand and articulate and grab and pinch things and move things and look at things. And then they had to be able to fly and flap and fold like a real bird's wings do. Either one is extremely difficult. You had to do both. That happens while our costuming department is also putting costumes on Stuart.
I give them a lot of sketches. I give them examples of fabric that I would like to use. As they're producing these fabrics in a computer, we can talk about the textures. How, for example, the pants would flow when he's walking if we're using cargo pant, which is like a cotton twill. They have these guys called cloth guys, and there's only 12 of them in the world. 5 of them working for Sony right now. And it's phenomenal what these people can do. I mean, they can really mathematically figure out how the threads and the count of the threads goes in to make this fabric appear real on a huge screen.
Each Stuart shot. Each one is almost like making a painting.
We actually get close, and you see tears, and you see reflections in the eyes, and you see wind, and you see every little speck that might be on somebody's nose. To be able to get that close to a digital character and still get the emotion out of them, that makes it incredibly difficult.
Animators are observers. They're keen observers. All day long, we're we're studying people and how we look and how other people look. You know, you've always seen the picture of an animator looking in a mirror and that sort of thing. So that when Stuart emotes something or says something or goes into a sigh like this, that we study exactly how many frames that takes to do this, or how quickly he goes up as opposed to how slowly he goes down.
As rendering is done. Match the sunlight or put a twinkle in his eye, highlight on the whiskers. And then we have to check all the color for every shot. Every sequence has to be matched together. And then we film it out, get the prints done, send it away. That encompasses about 90 different people on the show, maybe over 100. So the digital artist, there's not one person who takes care of everything. It's really a group effort. It's really about the collaboration.
The truth is that there are so many joyful moments that you experience with the creation of the movie, and it happens from the very beginning of the process all the way until the end of the process. When you start to see the shots coming together and you start to realize how beautiful the images are, or when you hear the music for the first time, each one of those moments, I think, makes it all worthwhile. Animators are people who bring things to life. And obviously that requires a tremendous sensitivity and understanding and compassion and the desire to create something that can be both real and touching and all those things.